Welcome to Friday Flip on the Becoming You Again podcast. Every Friday, I take your divorce problems, conundrums, and questions and do a quick flip around to empower you to show up as the best you after divorce. Today's problem is presented by Sherry. She asks, is there ever a time that you stop grieving what was and what should have been? Thanks for your question, Sherry. The answer is yes and no. The answer is yes in this way. Grief is something that all of us need to allow and process through so that we can heal from our divorce. That is going to include a feeling of sadness about the loss of what was, what you once had with your partner before things changed, and it's going to include feeling disappointed about the future that you thought you were going to have, but you ended up being wrong about. This pain, this grief, it will come, and it's necessary to be there to help you kind of clean your wounds and heal your soul. However, if you listen to Monday's episode on healing the pain of divorce, then you know that grief is all clean pain. And it's the dirty pain that's unnecessary. And if you're feeling exhausted and miserable at the end of each day, then my guess is you're not just feeling grief, but there's some dirty pain that is going on in there too, that's kind of mixed up in there. And so if you can let go of the dirty pain and allow the clean pain of grief to be there, to be a part of you right now, it will move through you faster and it will help you feel better in the long run. But also the answer to your question, is there ever a time when you're going to stop? No. And I only say that because when we've moved through the grief and we've moved forward in our life, we are still human. And as humans, we still have thoughts. So you might be 5 or even 10 years or 15 years out from your divorce. And then one day your brain will offer you a thought of what was so many years ago, right? You'll remember something and you'll think of maybe like what could have possibly been of that relationship. And your brain will offer you these thoughts and you might decide to spin in those thoughts for a little bit and you'll feel the grief and you'll feel the sadness and you'll feel the disappointment and the hurt bubble up again, right? Because of what you're thinking. And so when this happens, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you want your ex back. It doesn't mean that you've made a mistake or a wrong decision. All it means is that you're human and your brain is offering you human thoughts and you're feeling emotions because of those thoughts. That's it. And if you can look at situations in a neutral way, if you can look at when these thoughts pop up in a neutral way like that, without attaching judgment to why you're having them, then you'll be able to just let go of them easily and move on with your day. So yes, you can move through the grief by just allowing that dirty pain, but no, you still will have grief moments pop up in the future, and it's okay. It doesn't have to mean that something's gone wrong. It doesn't have to mean that you're doing it wrong, that you made a wrong decision. None of that. It's just a thought because you're human. You can think it and go, oh, yep, there's that thought. And then just allow it to pass through your brain and let it go. All right, I hope that helps. Sherry, thank you so much for your question. I'll talk to you next week. That's your Friday Flip. Stay tuned for the weekly podcast episode that comes out every Monday. And remember, if you want more one-on-one help from me as your divorce coach to help you create an even better life than when you were married, then you need to schedule your free consult with me by going to www.karennelsoncoaching.com. Remember, that's Karen with an I.